Yo, what's going on, yo? This is LaFavorite Fitness coming back to you with another video. And today I will be talking about why being lean is a cheat code, especially nowadays. Now, I used to be fat. I used to be a big back. And that way of living was not fun. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna try to sit here and say, some cope like, yeah, it was fun back then. I will say the fun thing about being like fat back then is like, I just ate what I want, have my food, cookies, ice cream, pizza, Subway sandwiches, McDonald's, and I would never really worry about it. But I noticed that the way I was being treated was like not optimal. It was not very nice in my opinion. And I mean, during that time, that's all I really knew. Cause like when I was a little kid, I was always fat. I was always like a bigger kid compared to like most. And me, I'm 5'8", and the heaviest I ever been was damn near like 300 pounds. So, make that information what you will, but yeah, your boy was fat. Your boy was big. But I noticed that well, obviously, I'm in shape now. I would say so. I'm in shape. But the treatment that I get now versus back then, I'm not gonna lie, it was a shock to my nervous system, cause I noticed that like whenever I gotten lean, or at least was even on my journey to getting lean, I noticed that like I started getting stared at more. Like people started looking at me more. And at least for me, whenever I was fat back then, like I noticed like, I wouldn't really get looked at that much. I would just walk and, live everyday life, like just keeping minding my own business, really just keeping to myself. But I just noticed that when I got lean, like people were just like looking at me. I'm not gonna lie, I felt very self-conscious at first, because I'm like thinking to myself, well, like why is everybody looking at me? Like why are people staring at me? And being a bigger dude, I was mostly like introverted. I really just kept to myself. And I started feeling like a little bit anxious. I'm like, why the fuck is everybody looking at me? Like, cause when I was big, nobody was really like checking for me. But once I got in shape, like at first it was quite uncomfortable, cause you get stared at, you get looked at. But then I had to take a step back and put myself into like other people's shoes. And being a sexy chocolate man now, I can understand why people stare now. It's because, especially living in the West, living in America, not many people are in shape now. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the majority of the population is either overweight or obese. But I mean, it makes sense with like all the foods that we have here, like it's gonna happen by default if you just eat the average American diet. But I've came to accept it now, actually embrace it. Now, like to me, when people stare at me, I mean, it's not a big deal to me anymore. Like I'm actually like quite used to it now. But like I said, at first it was quite shocking to me. But the reason why this is a cheat code is because we're all visual creatures. Like as human beings, like we all are. And I know people say, oh no, it's not true. Like looks don't matter. But if we're being real, our eyes that we use them for everyday things, literally like, well, if you have the function of your eyes, which I mean, if you don't, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But like, yeah, we use our eyes for everything. And obviously when you look at somebody, you kind of make, tiny, you make tiny judgments in like microseconds or milliseconds, or fractions of a second. I don't know how to say that shit, but you make judgments of people when you first see them. So of course, like if you see somebody that like looks disheveled, you know, fat, a big ass stomach, you know, this doesn't take care of himself. An individual doesn't take care of himself. Now, you might not want to associate with that person, or you might think to yourself like, oh, who is this dude? Or yeah, man, like subconsciously you're probably not going to want to be near that person. Even if you are like quote unquote a nice dude or a nice girl or whatever, you probably won't want to be near that person. And I mean, I can speak from this experience because, you know, your boy, like I said, was big. Your boy was heavy set. But if you go on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're a muscular, lean, athletic, beautiful, you know, human being, and, you know, you look good, you smell good, you have a nice haircut, you know, your beard is lined up, your mustache is trimmed. I gotta get a haircut soon. But anyway, most people would think, okay, yeah, this person takes care of themselves. They're well put together, you know, they look good, you know, and more than likely they're probably going to give you favorable treatment. And it's actually been proven that, you know, whenever you're going for like more jobs and stuff like that, the better you look, the better chances that you have of getting more opportunities. Because in a sense, like how you look, it's a reflection of how you view yourself, right? Yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, you look disheveled, you look, you know, sloppy and everything. Of course, like people really probably won't want to, you know, give you opportunities because they probably subconsciously think, you know, if you can't even take care of your own appearance, how can I trust you with other things? Well, that may not be true. You know, some people can look good and like, you know, probably got like a messy ass room, or, you know, probably got some other shit in their life they probably don't have together. But my point is just that if you are lean, you stand out from the population. You probably don't look like everybody else, especially in America. Now, Asia, probably not. But if you are lean, it is a cheat code in life. And trust me, as a former big bag, I can speak on this topic. So my suggestion for you is to get lean, you know, track your calories, track your food, and yeah, just live a healthier lifestyle. But that's all I got. Stay active and get fit.